Hello, hello, everybody, and welcome to Five Guys on Live. CJ, Rodney, and Vince, welcome, my brothers. How are you each doing today?
I am doing great. Thanks for asking.
You're doing great.
I am.
So, CJ, what makes you great?
I woke up to see another day today.
Praise the Lord. Praise the Lord.
I'm doing great too. Blessed and highly favored. Glad to be in the land of the living because a lot of people didn't make it today.
A lot of people didn't make it. So tell us this, Vince. What did you do this weekend? How was your weekend, my brother?
This weekend was actually pretty busy for me. I had 2 photo shoots. So
I see you working.
Yeah. A dear friend of mine, he has his own sock collection. He asked me to be a creative director for his relaunch. So I was riding around Atlanta getting different shots of his socks, and then I had a client yesterday. We did his birthday shoot. So a lot of photography went down for me this weekend.
A lot of photography. Tell us about these socks. What type of socks are we selling?
They're like your dress socks. There's a variety of colors, different patterns, you name it. I wish I had them. I left them in the car, but it's coming soon. I'll post some pictures really soon. But yeah, very colorful, very versatile with just any season, any style, jeans, short, whatever. It's pretty dope.
So we're excited about these new socks. And Rodney, how are you over there?
I'm doing just fine. I have some family coming in because of Hurricane Sally is hitting the Gulf Coast, and I'm just anticipating my good old family to pull in at 3:00 this morning, and we're going to have a good old Sally time. But other than that, I've been doing pretty good. Thank God the media is picking back up. So
praise the Lord for being a refuge in Atlanta. Praise the Lord. So while we are praying for everyone who will be possibly impacted by Hurricane Sally, but we are thankful, Rodney, that you are able to provide safe haven for your family. Is Dante coming?
He will be here.
Okay, well, Dante, we wish you the best, and we hope that some of the liberation of Atlanta rubs off on you, and you finally decide to make the right choice in your life and support Vice President Joe Biden and Senator Kamala Harris as the next president of these United States. And with that being said, yes, CJ.
Oh, I also want to say over the weekend I had a chance to see Rodney's display in the cultural experience, which was something really big, and he got the opportunity to be a part of the cultural experience. So I did get a chance to go to the cultural experience and just really soak in all the Black 90s history and current events and things that we're going through. So anyone that's in the Atlanta area or you're visiting Atlanta, please go to the cultural experience ATL. It's definitely a good place to go, and it's supporting Black businesses. So you're on mute.
Thank you, CJ. I have not been to the cultural experience. I did not know Rodney was doing anything in the 90s except crawling around on the floor. But I am thankful to know that he has made a contribution to the 90s and maybe even the 9-9 as he has backed it up like Juvenile. So what we will do, Rodney, we're going to go directly into our very first topic. This is a topic that you brought to the table. And thank you and welcome to everyone who's joining us tonight. We want you to tell us, kind of check in with us. Who are you, where you're from, and please don't hold back on tonight's discussions. Our very first topic is really one that Rodney brought to the table. Rodney, go ahead and tell us about topic number 1.
So while I was on the good book, it was a debate going on about the hue of a Black person's skin. And it really bothered me. And the reason why it bothered me, because what I do not understand is how one spectrum of you being Black, you support Black people, no matter the hue of their skin, but then on the same spectrum, you are tearing down somebody because of the color of their skin. And I do not understand that. I think it's dumb, and I feel like you self-hate yourself, because how can you support Black Lives Matter at the same time, like, oh, you too light skinned, you don't understand what I've been through. Or you too brown skinned, you don't understand what I've been through. Or you black, so I ain't go through what you went through. When we all black. And I truly feel like, and I know that is a plantation mentality. And like I try to tell people all the time, and I was just going back, I was going in. We say we free. We say that we we not slaves anymore, but we are still enslaved in our mind. If I walk in a room in of this cast and we all apply for something, please don't think you don't get the part because of the color of my skin and vice versa. I will hope that you are worried about do you have enough credentials. Because if you are to feel defeated because a person is lighter than you, that's not my fault that you feel that way. One thing I can say to my parents and my grandparents and my great-grandparents did a very good job with my cousin. We didn't go around saying, oh, that's my light-skinned cousin, that's my brown-skinned cousin, or whatever. Can we look at this picture right here? We're going to describe, how we y'all describe this picture? I'm just going to go to mute real quick. I want each one of y'all to describe how y'all tell somebody, how y'all describe this picture to someone else.
I would just say beautiful, strong Black women.
Yeah, I agree. And there's a man in there too on this left corner.
Oh, I didn't even see that.
I just noticed that too. I did, but yeah, I have to agree with CJ. Just strong Black, melanin popping, like we say now. So yeah.
It may be a man, it may not be a man. We're not certain. I don't want to misgender.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, they're all beautiful regardless. They look amazing. They look like they're strong leaders for the cause, and they're just Black and beautiful. Clearly, there's all different shades of Black, but I wouldn't say, hey, here's a all shades Black color picture of Black women and or men. I would just say beautiful Black skin.
So, Rodney, I missed it. What is the point? I know that it's it, but what is the actual point for us to debate?
The point is, how can you stand for Black people when it's a collective, but when it's not a collective, you tear the person down. You try to make them feel less than. You try to make somebody apologize because of the way they came out, the way they were born. And
so you're saying like Kamala, an example would be Kamala Harris. People saying that Kamala Harris isn't Black, or President Barack Obama isn't Black. That's the issue that you're saying that's a real problem for you.
Yes, that really bothers me. Because at the same time, that picture, when you describe it, as a group, they're beautiful Black people. But then when we take them apart, we're going to describe their features, how they look. You are taught that. And that's one thing that just really irks my nerve. That I had to literally argue with people, and people trying to tell that my Black experiences did not matter. And truth be told, I did not hang around any other races in high school. I only hung around Black people. And only the Black people let me know that I was light skinned. Only Black people thought I was better than them because of the color of my skin. And I mean, one time on an incident on a bus ride going home, my brother is 1 year younger than me, Dante. Somebody told us that y'all can't be brothers, and we like, why we can't be brothers? Like, why is that a big mystery, or why we can't be brothers? They're like, cause you're light skinned, he dark skinned. I said, so that can't be my brother because we came out two different colors. Like, I don't get
it. So I definitely get what you're saying, Rodney. But as people saying that your experience hasn't been the same as other people's experience, but let's just be real. Light-skinned people, and to this day, still do get looked over. I mean, get more praise than dark-skinned people. If you look at a totem pole, like it goes light skin, then brown skin, dark skin, like it's still very, very much so true. Even in our communities, people feel like light skinned people are more privileged than darker skinned people, even though we're all Black. So
do you feel that way, CJ? Okay, so when you are speaking, are you speaking for yourself? Or are you speaking for a general? Do you feel like I'm better than you because I'm light skinned?
No, I don't feel that you are.
I'll give more things to you because I'm light skinned.
No, I don't feel you are. I don't feel that you are. No. But I'm just saying that there's some situations where light-skinned people do get looked, black-skinned people, darker-skinned people get looked over because of light skin. And that's just the bottom line.
Yeah, I would have to just chime in real quick to add to CJ's point. Even if you look at the media and just pop culture and things that we watch on a daily basis, just the light skin versus dark skin narrative is always being pushed in front of our face. If you're a Housewife fan, the season before last, the Eva comment against Shamia, where she's not black with a Q. And then even if you watch the Netflix documentary about, I want to say documentary, the biopic with Octavia Spencer playing Madam C.J. Walker. Her evil nemesis was a light-skinned woman, and she got more acceleration and more credentials than Octavia Spencer's Madam C.J. Walker character did, or what have you. So I feel like to answer your question earlier that you posed, Rodney, I feel like as a community we have to constantly do our best to make sure that we are all seen as equal, despite whatever shade of brown or black that we are. And we have to constantly, not trying to sound religious, but cast down that thought, cast down that mentality, cast down that, well, my experience are this, that, and the third, and you didn't experience this. But at the same time, in the midst of wanting us to achieve the equality message between black people, we still can't forsake, a lighter skinned person or a fair skinned person's may have received more praise or more acceleration than a darker skinned person. And I also have to credit Beyonce with that song Brown Skin Girls, as I'm sure we've all heard on the Lion King project or what have you. In that video that she did, it was beautiful, beautiful chocolate women. And I feel like she did that because that is a shade of brown or a shade of a African American woman that you don't see in terms of mainstream, in terms of pop culture. Her having Lupita, her having Naomi Campbell, her having just all of those beautiful chocolate skinned women. Kelly Rowland, her new single Coffee that she just released at the top of the pandemic was nothing but beautiful chocolate women. So the more that we sort of push that out there, hell, even if you look at hip hop culture, we've seen from many producers, many rappers. Even what's the show, CJ? P Valley. Yeah. The last episode with Autumn, they were like, "Ooh, light-skinned women get away with everything." Right, yeah. You know what I'm saying? So
even look at back in the day when they had school days, when it was the light skin versus the black, brown skin girls.
Yeah,
there's always a division between light skin and black and darker skin, color black people.
So I'm going to say this. It's not my fault, or I'm gonna say it's not any person that's a lighter hue fault if a darker hue person praise them more, if a darker hue person prefer them more. Why should I be targeted because a certain group of people chooses me over another group of people? Like, I don't understand it. And we all, and y'all all said the same thing. Certain people do that. That's a certain category of people who do that. So when you are dividing black people, that's an issue that we need to talk about. That is the reason why black people can't get ahead. Because look at Oprah Winfrey. Look at Tyler Perry. Nene Leakes, I don't even like her. Whoopi Goldberg. Like, we have so many black, if you want to say dark skin, black excellence that's going on. So, like, why can't we all be shared in one room?
What was the purpose of you naming those celebrities? I'm confused.
Because you said that light-skinned people are praised over. So I was naming dark-skinned people who are very, very successful.
That has nothing to.
Yes, it does. People praise Oprah and Tyler and stuff like that.
They do, Rodney. They do, but because they're successful in their own right, not because of their dark skin.
So you don't think people find them attractive and stuff like that?
I'm not saying that people don't find them attractive, Rodney, but you're comparing apples to oranges. That makes no sense.
No, it's not. Why can they not be attractive and praised?
Oh, okay. That makes no sense.
I want to know, why can they not be desired?
Rodney, you naming celebrities.
Why can Oprah not be desired?
That are successful has nothing to do with how light-skinned people.
Why can Oprah? Okay, well, take out the money. Take out the money. Take out the money. Why is Oprah not desirable?
I never said she wasn't. What are you talking about?
Okay, so if we remove the money factor, can Oprah be desired? That's a yes or no.
We're not talking about money in general. We're talking about.
You made it about the money, the status. I
never said it about the money. You said it about the money.
I did use the word successful, so I'm taking out the success from them. Individually, can Oprah be attractive?
Absolutely, she is. She's a beautiful Black woman.
Okay, so what's the difference for her being successful and not successful? She's still an attractive woman, right?
We never said she wasn't, Rodney.
I don't get.
Let me say this.
Yeah,
let me add in a little bit of perspective. And so what I was going to add in is this. I personally don't have a problem with anyone and their personal preferences in regards to who they find attractive, who they don't find attractive, because that is absolutely your choice. You have the right to say that I don't want to date someone who has a lisp. I don't want to date someone who has a gap. I don't want to date someone who has a certain whatever it is. You have that choice. I absolutely firmly believe that what you find attractive is what you find attractive. So that, to me, doesn't really factor the conversation. To me, colorism is about preferential treatment being given to someone because of the color of their skin. And it's really a true issue in the Black community and communities of color. Because to the majority of white people, we really are all seen as Black and fall in a certain category. However, even white people historically have tended to give preferential treatment to lighter hued people. And that's what colorism is about. And it is a level of self-hatred that we've even seen manifested on the show. Now, I have receipts that I could pull out for two people on this live cast, and I'm not going to do it. Because you both said some things that were questionable to me and offensive to the Black community regarding color, but I'm not going to say anything because that's not the conversation. But the conversation really is about what do we do to dismantle the color issue in the Black community? How can we truly be supportive of every single person in the community, and or if we even should?
We are talking about it. So why don't you say what was offensive?
No, I don't do that because it would belabor the issue. It's not relevant. What is relevant, though, is
why did you bring it up?
Right, you said two people.
Point out the fact that the receipts exist, and actually, our viewers are pointing out some discrepancies that are existing even in the discussions that we're having right now. And so, I would say, if you've been continuously watching each episode, you would see that there have been instances where things have been said that now are being contradicted, but that's not the point of the debate. I want to stay on topic, and I don't want us to spend too much time on the one topic. What I do want to say is that this is what I really want. I really want to see I want to live in a world. I want to live in America. Zachary, this is me speaking for myself. I want to live in an America where every single Black person could truly do whatever it is he or she wanted to do with autonomy. If a Black person wanted to go Republican, they could with no questions. If a Black person wanted to, whatever they wanted to do, they could do it. But unfortunately, we are a marginalized community. And when we do not stick together, we do not get collective justice and we don't get collective results. And we're living in an era when no matter what hue you are, you're still Black. And that is a point that needs to be present and made. We will not always be a monolithic group. That's something that I did research on over the weekend. We all may have seen the polls where Joe Biden is not doing as well with Hispanic or Latino voters because they're not the same as Hillary Clinton did. Well, the thing is this: just because you are Hispanic or Latino doesn't mean that you think the same way. Hispanic voters in Florida, mainly Latino voters in Florida, Cuban Americans, are traditionally very conservative and they love the Republican Party. However, Hispanic Mexican American voters in Arizona are very, very progressive. Just because they have the same hue and they may have the same ethnic designation, it doesn't make them the same. The reality is this: those exact same levels of autonomy and choice should be in the Black community, but they're not there because we know that we are so marginalized, we have to stick together. And when we don't stick together, major cultural issues emerge, and we've got to move beyond that. But this isn't the year to break apart. This is the year to come together more so than ever, regardless of your complexion. Vince.
I also want to just add to that from my own personal experience, even just me at my job, in terms of how, as a community, can we combat this type of narrative. For me, it even starts in the jokes. My entire staff is all complexions of Black people. And they would say to me, well, Vince, you brown, so you'll probably be between the house and the field. but sister over here, she light skinned, so she'll be a house Oh, but you dark skinned and you'll be out in picking cotton and And this is conversation and jokes and narratives that we push, that we own in our own behind the curtain conversations ourselves. And then when we continuously make this house versus field slave joke around our Black community, then that now envelops or transitions into my own personal experiences, and now I'm being praised more than this person is being praised more, and then we just have this Pandora box of colorism that's affecting, to Zach's point, our community. So I just think for us, we have to be more cognizant of us not utilizing and pushing this narrative, and stop with the field versus house, quote unquote, word, what word I'm talking about, jokes, and really try to evoke on more unity between all hues of our beautiful skin.
Vince, you're right. And so Candy said that we have to learn to see the divinity in one another, to accept and love each other. And it starts with self-love. And it does start with self-love, but that's a really hard concept to grasp when society has taught you to hate yourself. And that's ultimately where it comes into, Dante, when you say this. I know what you want us to say, but let me break this down for you, my brother. You said in defense of light-skinned people, Black people are the majority of the world, and there's more dark-skinned people than there are light-skinned people. If light-skinned people are treated better by society, then whose fault is it? It is. So what you'd want to say is it's the fault of perhaps the majority of these Black people you talk about, dark-skinned people. Here's the reality, Dante. It's the fault of white people. It's the fault of white people. It's the fault of systemic racism and oppression that has been forced on all people of color and everyone who isn't white in society. They're the ones who created this hierarchy. They're the ones who created these false notions. They're the ones who lived in society. So you know who it goes back to? White people. And this is something that I think Nathaniel also pointed out. And he said, it's our fault. White people created the idea that we carried it out. But ultimately it goes back to white people. Now we have to liberate ourselves, and we have to liberate our thinking. But that's not easy to do when we sit here and say we have Black crime-ridden neighborhoods and we have Black violence out of control. That is exactly what leads to this kind of thinking, and that's what exactly leads to the problem. And people like this right here perpetuate it every single day. Every day. Vince, it's yours.
My. What can this man do? What can this man say to get his base to turn away? It seems like nothing. So recently, Bob Woodward released a book called Rage. And while he was spending time with Trump in the White House, Trump, of course, did some interviews with him, and on record, just openly admitted, and I quote, in regards to the pandemic, I wanted to always play it down. Trump told Woodward on March 19th, I still like playing it down because I don't want to cause a panic. So us hearing this man's voice willingly, openly own that he wanted to play down a pandemic, and we have hundreds of thousand lives lost, and over 1 million, 2 million people still being affected by this pandemic, and he can still walk, just like this picture we're looking at right now. He can still walk around cheesing and smiling as if his now intentional negligence hasn't affected an entire country. Is not only disgusting and terrible, but the fact that he still has supporters and sponsors and people are still coming out endorsing him. It's like, what can this man do to not further incriminate himself? Like, literally blood is on his hands, and we hear we got the receipts, we got the evidence, and it's still not shifting a lot of people's mindsets in regards to Trump. So yeah, I just
people's mindsets. We're gonna talk about that, bitch. We're gonna break that down. We're gonna talk about the big five that was shared in your article as revelations. And I do want to share some insight into the myth, because I did a lot of research over the weekend. I have been deep in research all weekend about what we see from we may see 1 or 2 people on social media saying they're voting for Trump. We may see 1 or 2 people on social media that's Black saying, I'm all about Donald Trump. Maybe we see Dante saying that. And we're all about, Black. They're the 1 or 2 people that's I don't even know the word for it. They're not the representation. We're going to talk about that. But before we talk about it, I cannot let this go when Dante said, yes, blame the white man, shouldn't black people have their own platform? And then why are y'all begging for acceptance by the white man and then be so quick to blame the white man for your downfall? I'm gonna let y'all can all address this if you so feel inclined to do so, but I know I feel inclined to do so. And this is what I'm gonna say, Dante, I gotta make myself big on the screen. You can tell you something. I am a man made by my community and my people. I was raised in DeKalb, Mississippi, down a dirt road to love myself and to respect myself and to uphold and uplift my community, to be the best that I can be, not for the approval of any white man or any white woman or any white person, but because it is what God has given me life to do, because I'm only allowed to build his kingdom on this earth. And my God is not a white man. It may be that your God is a white man. It may be that you are living your life to please and satisfy white people because maybe you were taught to do that. But that's not what Deborah Kirk, Alma Kirk, and Elvira Watkins, my great-grandmother, grandmother, and mother ever taught me. They taught me to never bow down, to never look down, and to never feel bad. No matter how much people bully me, no matter how many names I'm called, to always let the light that God put in me shine. And I have done it for all of my years on this earth, and I will continue to do so. So I don't seek out any white person's approval. I personally believe that is what the majority of black Republicans and black conservatives do, is that they seek out the approval of white people. And that's why people like Candace Owens has a platform. That's why Rest in Peace Julie DeParted, Herman Queen has a platform. And Dante, that might be what you believe in, why you may want a platform, but my brother, that's not me. So don't say what we do to please black people.
Come on.
Brother, I don't do it.
I'm gonna say this: if the shoe don't fit, don't wear it. Because in the household of the Wash and the Neely, we didn't have that going on. My mom didn't separate her kids by the color of their skin. My mom told us we were all black. Okay? The issue at hand is when you have other black people going around trying to tell you who the hell you're supposed to be, or why you better than them, or why you praise more than them. That's your own fault. And it's sad that your parents allowed that in your household to say, don't go outside and get too black, or go date your light-skinned girl so your children come out with good hair. That was some of the black people did. In my household, we didn't have that issue. Okay? And one thing I can say, me and Tell, we and my sister and brothers ain't never had an issue like that. The only time I ever got picked on by my color was by a black person. So, and I'm gonna keep it a buck. We are still, that is a plantation mentality that has been going on since 1700s. But I be damned if I'm not, cause the stuff that Rodney Marquis Watch have, I worked my ass off for it. I ain't sleep for it. I got my education on my own. I didn't cheat for it. So anytime I get anything, it's not because I was light skinned. But if you feel that way, that's your own issue. That's not my fault that you feel that way. If you don't walk in a room with confidence in your mind, and you are defeated because of somebody, because of you, of a person's skin, that's your fault, love. That's not mine. And you can't go seek therapy for that. It's real. I mean, I'm not being funny. It's a real thing. Because if you were raised in a household where you was told stuff like that, your parents and your grandmammy and your great-grandma was the issue. It's not the world's fault. It's your household fault. That's a household talk thing.
Yeah, and for me, I mean, it all starts with, I think the frequent word that we've been hearing between all four of us is mentality, slave mentality. It's all a mentality thing that we have to cast down those imaginations and cast down those thoughts and cast down those conversations, even beyond the household. What happened between mama and grandma way back when, even bringing it over into how we correspond with our friends and how we make jokish things on social media, how we like certain things. Even the whole, that's what I wanted to say before Zach moved on to the next topic, even the Beyonce versus Kelly Rowland debate. They always put Beyonce, was the reason why she's so successful. Part of it, not only her talent, was because she light skinned, and that's why Kelly Rowland won't because she's dark skinned. And that's something that we're singing now in this year. From us, that ain't mama, that ain't grandma, that ain't great grandma. That's something that we're choosing to continue to carry out this narrative as well. So for me, I don't say that we're owning. Hold on, I'm not going to say that we're blaming white people. Yes, 100%. It did. they did initiate this thing, but we definitely have carried it out. And it is our due diligence to make sure that we, again, cast down those conversations.
Candy, what comment or what hurt you? And you're not on the panel. Tell us that. And I think that's a good point.
I want to know what Nathaniel was talking about. He said his grandmother would make him come in the house if he would get dark.
That was actually, that's an old country phrase that people would say. That's not something I heard in my family, but I've heard people in the country, people that I heard, they would say, don't stay outside too long, you will get dark. These are like old racial jokes that were told in the country. These are things that, were perpetuated and passed down. And the reality is this: when we were enslaved, forcibly taken, and we were enslaved, and had the white owners that enslaved us would have beaten and instilled in our ancestors that darker skin was better than lighter skin, and guess what? We would have the opposite conversation in America today. But that is why we're saying this goes back to white people, Dante. That's where the root is, and that's where it comes from. And it's just a reality. It's not a matter of saying that's just the reality. That's the historical fact, the historical nature of it. So I think, again, we are 31 minutes in. Vince, I want to go back to your topic and talking about the Bob Woodward book. And
I did want to add to that a little bit real quick, Zach. I think the piece beyond, what he said, the root word for that quote is that he didn't want to cause more panic. Trump majors in fear mongering and panic. Y'all remember when he was talking about the caravan was coming to the border? Where does caravan at? It never showed up. Mexicans are rapists. I think it was a topic 2 shows ago. Whoever submitted it about Trump scaring suburban families, saying that low-income housing was going to push them out of their neighborhoods. So for you to willingly traffic and initiate speech on panicking, and then now you have this one situation that is affecting an entire nation in terms of the health, then you don't want to cause panic there. Like it's and for me, it's like when you put that A and B chart in front of you, it's like, come on, y'all. I don't care if you thought you supported him or want to support him. The facts are facts, but beyond his sponsors and supporters, it ultimately just removes the lid of just how much hate, how much blatant, pure hate we have in this country. And I even think is the people that are sponsoring and supporting him are more for the hate than the personality or the character of Trump. You get what I'm saying?
I do. I agree 100%. In the book, I've pre-ordered the book. I can't wait to get the book. And, in the book, number one, Donald Trump downplayed the dangers of coronavirus. He knew in February how dangerous and how deadly this disease was. The rest of Americans didn't. Democrats didn't have the information. They were not privy to the information. It was given and shared with key Republican strategists and officials. To me, Donald Trump and the whole entire Republican Party should be held accountable for the 180,000, almost 200,000 lives that have been lost to coronavirus, and the 6 million plus people that have been affected by the disease, and the millions more of people who have been affected by their family members having the disease. In addition to that, it talked about his relationship with President Kim Jong-un of South Korea, and how he referred to him as a woman, and knowing that he was going to have a lucky time with him as a leader.
North Korea,
correct. And so that was in the book. In addition to that, also Bob Woodward has him on tape talking about how he knows that the coronavirus would be very deadly to children, and how that they were actually at risk, as we now have 500,000 American children who have contracted the coronavirus. Although he said they will not get it, he said they will not die. He said they can go back to school safely. He knew in February that was not the case. He knew in February that the virus was airborne and posed a massive threat to every American, regardless of age. I'm trying to think of the other big bombshell that was released. He also called our military leaders the P word. It's a word that's used for cats. But it starts with a P. He said that the leaders of our military were P words because they cared more about doing what was right than trying to help the United States trade deals. To me, that was really one of the greatest insults I've ever seen a president leverage. This is the thing. I have friends who have given their life to the military, to military service. We have family members who have given their life to military service. We know how hard it is to actually rise up the ranks in a job. Imagine how hard it is to actually rise up the ranks and become a leader of an entire branch of the United States military. And for Donald Trump, someone who dodged the draft because of burn spurts that we have no record of him having, to then say this about these men who have sacrificed their entire lives to serve our country, and to think you still have military officials supporting him, and to think you still have people that swear they're all about the military supporting Donald Trump. It's a shame. It's an embarrassment. And it's really, really hard to believe. At this point, I firmly believe that anyone who is supporting Donald Trump is absolutely, bottom line, a racist or an idiot. You're one of two things. There's no in-between ground. The case has been made. The man out of his own mouth has said these horrible things, and you have it being recorded. You hear it for yourself. You either want him to be president because you are a racist and you want to uphold the white race in America, or you're an idiot and you absolutely believe the lies he gets up on the podium and he says. There is no other middle ground, in my opinion.
I'm just going to say this. I don't understand his slogan, "Make America Great Again." When was America not great? Are you talking about segregation times? We were divided by water fountains, and we had to, walk on the opposite of the road. We saw a white person walking down the street. This man is utterly racist. This man says horrible things to every individual in the United States of America. He has offended everyone, even white people. Because let me tell you one thing. When cause I had a very interesting debate with somebody about being a slave owner. He was a white man. And I had to really break it down. I was like, sir, you don't even like you have $50,000 in your bank account. Slave owners had money. You'll be out there in the field overseeing us, making sure that we picking the cotton. You're not even allowed inside the parties or the house. So, and I don't understand what every white person thinks because you automatically own slave. No, sweetheart, you had to have money. So if you didn't have money, you didn't even have a seat at the table. You was right here hunt people with the dogs and all that kind of stuff. You would just and to be honest, white people made white trash that word. They call it white trash. That came from a white person. I mean, just call a spade a spade. And so even back, I want to say in 96 or in the early 2000s, Trump even said he would run for the Republican Party because they're so dumb. And y'all prove his point over and over and over and over again. And sometimes I truly believe Trump is really acting. I think Trump needs an award because he is a great actor. I believe Trump says whatever he wants to say because he knows he's going to get voted for. Let me say this. I'll make sure I want to say this correctly. Do I believe Trump is a racist? He say racist things, but do I believe he say things to get people to vote for him? Yes. So I feel like it's a yes and a yes. So if you're going to vote for Trump and you are the party of Trump, especially being a black person, this man has offended you more than once. I don't understand. How can you be a black man in America and you're voting for Trump? How can you be Latin in America and you're voting for Trump? How can you be Mexican in America and you're voting for Trump? This man building a wall for Mexico, and a lot of y'all are from Mexico, for the Mexican people who over here. Like, how can you sit there and vote for somebody who calls you murderers and rapists? And how can you sit here and vote somebody when he calls your country when you came from shithole countries? This man has said this. This man was in Puerto Rico throwing paper towel at people like he was at a goddamn parade. What more can this man do to not offend you? What do he need to say? He even offended women, saying to grab the women by the pussy. Like, what more can this man say? Are you just that mean spirit in your heart that you're going to vote for someone because you just that damn hateful? That's a hateful ass spirit. And God bless you if you have that spirit in your life.
And Rodney, I feel like that's what it is. And I feel like in addition to that hateful spirit in him, it transcends around the entire country. You know, like I said, I feel like people are more so voting for the action of hate than the actual character that Trump represents. They just want, to Zach's point, want to uphold the white power pedestal. And if their agenda is taken care of, then it's fine. I don't care who's doing it. It could be Big Bird for all it is. But if Big Bird come out here with a KKK sign, then I'm cool with Big Bird. We vote for Big Bird. You get what I'm saying? Like, I really feel like that is the bottom line of America right now. And it's so disappointing because I think in all of our minds, we think, well, we're in 2020, we've come a long way. Many communities of color have done great strides, and we've done some amazing things in the past decades or so, but it's still this heaping huge amount of bull crap of racism and hatred that is going on, and it has yet to be, I want to say identified, but addressed, really.
And this, honestly, before we move on, and that's why it bothers me, we have to have a conversation about colorism, because that's dividing us even more. This is the time we should be sticking together and not worry about what the hell somebody look like. My motto: if you're not hurting children or animals, I don't care what the hell you do as a Black person. I'm going to support you. Black people need to do better, and we need to understand each other, respect each other differences, whether you gay, straight, or whatever. We Black. We need to stick together. We need to get out and vote, and we need to uplift each other, and not worried about what somebody look like.
So we gonna support him?
He crazy. He just like.
But when you say we gotta support the Black person, when you say you got to look at who you support, you can't support and say, I'm going to support the Black person because they're Black. You have to say, I'm going to support the best person because that's what is the right thing. We can't be like the Trump supporters. I do believe there are a handful and a small number of Trump supporters out there, but they're not really Trump supporters. They're going to vote for Trump because they're Republican and they're conservative, and they're so worried about their conservative values. The Democrats are going to abort the children, and they're going to give all the money away to the poor Black people in the world. They're Republican, and they're going to vote for Trump, and they're going to overlook all the awful things he's done and all the awful things he said just because he's a Republican. There's some people going to vote him just because he's white, even though what he's doing is against their self-interest. We can't fall into that exact same category of we're going to only support the Black person or vote for the Black person because they're Black. If that Black person is not in my best interest, I'm not going to support them. I'm not going to be there for them. I'm not going to be able to do it. I'm going to support the people that are going to do what's right for this world, period. We talked about on this live cast before about like economics and about some people are Republican because of the money they make. You know what? Let me go ahead. I did some research on that over the weekend as well. Only 9% of people in America, 9% of people make $100,000 or more per year. Only 9% of all people in this country. And do you know how many of 100% of African Americans or Black people in this country? Only 1.9% of Black people make over $100,000. If you're not in that 1.9%, there is nothing that Donald Trump's tax policies have done or will do that's going to benefit your Black behind. So for you to sit here and say you are supporting Donald Trump because of your money, you're stupid and you are misled. You are one of the idiots, not one of the racists, but one of the idiots that I spoke about earlier. And when you talk about idiots, I am talking about this man right here. This is O'Shea Jackson. O'Shea Jackson grew up in Baldwin Hills, the Black affluent community of Los Angeles. O'Shea Jackson, the hardcore gangster of NWA, went to George Washington Preparatory School. Okay, that's where he went to school. He had a mama and he had a daddy, both of them in his home, both of them educated, and both of them working. Yet he's the #1 gangster in America. Yet he's the person out here saying he's going to create a plan for Black America. This man has done significant damage to the Black community, and to me, forevermore, he's canceled. Let me tell you what Zachary Kirk is not going to do. Zachary Kirk is not going to watch the Players Club ever again. Zachary Kirk is not going to listen to any more music by this man ever again. Because this man's contract with Black America is a massive distraction. It has caused voter suppression, and it makes me sick to my stomach. Let me give you a little bit more evidence as to that. I posted on Facebook. You may have seen my Facebook post. Look at the man on the far right. Who is this man? You're muted. Vince, you're muted.
Isn't that Bannon? You said to the right. That's Bannon?
That is Steve Bannon. And for anyone out there watching, right, let me give you some historical context and perspective on the one and only Steve Bannon. Steve Bannon is the creator of Breitbart News. Breitbart News is a website I hope you never go to and I hope you never see. But on Breitbart News, they were the first people out here calling Michelle Obama a gorilla and a chimpanzee. It's an alt-right, underground, white supremacist, white nationalist website that takes news and builds conspiracy theories that attack Black people, Jewish people, and every other marginalized group of people in America. That man, Steve Bannon, was selected by Donald Trump to be his national policy advisor. That right there is the evidence that you need when you say that Donald Trump isn't racist. I would have said maybe Donald Trump was playing the game and trying to get votes in the beginning. But when this man put Steve Bannon on his cabinet, I knew he was a white nationalist. I knew he was a white supremacist, and I knew that he was a racist. That right there did it, because Steve Bannon is the most powerful and most influential racist in this country. And he served in the Donald Trump White House. Donald Trump gave him a national stage. In addition to that, though, not only did Donald Trump give him a national stage, let's go back to the image I just showed you of Ice Cube the pimp. Ice Cube runs now the Big Three basketball tournament and is at the league, is doing very well. The man on the left is Ice Cube's partner and the person that Ice Cube works with on the Big Three. He is also, that partner is Steve Bannon's best friend. Ice Cube has a vested interest in getting Donald Trump reelected. Ice Cube has a vested interest in not having Black people vote. When you sit here and you want to run behind and support Black men in the Black community, look at where the money goes. Look at where the money goes. These Black men are sellouts. These Black men are enemies to the community, and they are enemies of America. And Ice Cube, you are now #1 on the enemy list. Shame on you. Shame on you. I hope you lose it all.
I just want to see the facts of it all. I didn't know that I guess with his business partner that is now investing into Trump's campaign and wanting him to get reelected. So if that is again, if I could get that document or that article, I'll definitely that literally shifts my entire
me too.
approach to what I was going to
Do you
say.
have proof that he said this?
Excuse me, can you repeat your question?
I said, do you have facts that he actually said that he was supporting Trump and all this other stuff that you just mentioned? That's all I'm saying. I'm just asking.
I just want to see it with my own eyes.
So
I just want to get educated like you.
Have a phone and you can Google what I said, because I'm not going to get on a live cast and share information with anybody, to any of our viewers, anyone who watches, and not be accurate in what I'm saying. I don't do that. I never will. That's a commitment, Angela. In terms of, that's a commitment, Tatiana. That's a commitment, Zach. That's a commitment, Candace. I'm not going to get on this live cast and say things that are factual that are not factual. That's irresponsible, and that's misusing a platform that you have gifted me with by simply paying attention and joining us every Monday night. I would never do that, CJ. So yes, I have facts. You can Google it and get your facts. I put an article, I dropped an article in our group chat. That article gave you some facts. So read that article that breaks down the history. But when you Google, you will see Ice Cube also put a whole entire, in 2018, Ice Cube put a whole advertisement in the New York Times asking Donald Trump for help. The connections between Ice Cube and Donald Trump run and crisscross, and they're parallel in the same way they do with Kanye West. Now, has Ice Cube come on the record and said he supports Donald Trump? He hasn't, because he has to be careful in his manipulations of the community. That's how these types of things work. It's just like Kanye West running against Donald Trump. When he knows that white people are not going to vote for him, it's Black people that are going to vote for him. That's how these things work. But I'll give you guys some time to Google it and check it for yourself.
I'm gonna say, I did read it.
Rodney, thank you, Rodney, for doing your homework.
And so I can honestly say Zach is telling the truth for what I have seen and read. He, like Zach said, he's not gonna publicly say that he supports Trump. And again, you know what people say: if you want to hide stuff for Black people, put it in writing, because a lot of Black people are not gonna read what they're supposed to read. So if you read what you're supposed to read, you will see there is some truth to what Zachary is saying. And I'm gonna say this: Ice Cube, Zach put up the big three picture of the three people.
No.
What happened? Wait, I'm talking.
You tried it, but I'm gonna let you finish.
No, it's true. So when you look and see what you saw, he might not be directly connected to the one on the right, but he has a business interest to the one on the left, who in the left have a best friendship with the one to the far right.
And do more, Google more. I could only put one article in our group chat. Do more research. You will find that the big three got in trouble in Qatar. And they had a massive issue in Qatar, the nation of Qatar in the Middle East. And Steve Bannon got involved and helped them out. So it is absolutely a connection between Ice Cube and Steve Bannon. It's absolutely there.
Ice Cube is canceled in my book too, Zach. When I saw that, like I said, I didn't know anything about this Ice Cube, what he did until you put this on the docket. And when I seen that, it hurt my heart because I want to believe that Ice Cube was for black people. But now I see that he is not for black people. So therefore, I'm not going to be supporting him anymore.
Rodney, think about this. And here's a quote from Dr. Avis. A sister scholar said, "This Negro is a sellout. Point blank, period. Ice Cube has not engaged in any presidential campaign until he connected with the business partner of Steve Bannon to save his basketball league." This is my question. This is why I don't understand why anybody would let Ice Cube have a platform in the community. Why would you give him any credibility? This man has not done anything for any candidate or any campaign up until all of a sudden now. Why would we not question that? And also, let me say this. Why would we let this rapper have the authority to make an agenda or a contract for Black America? His voice is valid and his contributions are valid. But I don't consider him a preeminent scholar on what's best for Black America. We have people in this world who are learned, who are scholars, who have put in the work, who have put in the time, who have been doing this for their whole entire lives. So why would we let him come out of nowhere and represent the community? That's why I wanted, you talked about supporting the Black people. Every Black person doesn't have the community's interest at their heart. Some people only have their own interests at their heart. They only have their own money, their own pocketbooks at their heart. And I think that's Ice Cube. I think that's a lot of the Black people right now supporting Donald Trump. They don't care about the community and they don't care about America. They only care about themselves. So I guess that makes them good Republicans.
So for me, I never really I never really paid attention to Ice Cube. I didn't give him enough power to sway my own beliefs anyway. After those anti-Semitic comments that he made, and even just prior to them, me as a person, I'm very let's say just aware and hesitant on letting celebrity and the celebrity factor waver and control my position on things in terms of politics, in terms of my well-being, so on and so forth. That's just for me as a person. So yeah, I mean, I agree with what you're saying. What he said, he said it. I don't put a lot of weight into what he says anyway, just generally. So that was going to be my stance on it, honestly.
And there are a lot, and I agree, and I think even like it didn't raise any issues for me either. I actually wasn't going to even talk about it or address it because I feel as though why give it attention. But this is why I did is that, Ice Cube has 18.5 million followers on Instagram that saw that video. And many of those followers are Black. And I think if people are not informed, they might listen to what he's saying and they might be persuaded. Not you, but there are people who are. And I think we have to kind of, bring some attention to it. But in addition to that, we also want to bring attention to, and then, now that I agree with, Cornel West, especially against Obama and Biden, and that's okay. I do not feel that Cornel West is in the exact same category as Ice Cube. I do believe that you should critique everybody who is worthy of criticism. If President Obama, and he has done some things that have been worthy of criticism, I'm not going to criticize him, but I don't mind people who do so if that's their opinion. I don't mind Ice Cube critiquing President Obama. I don't mind Ice Cube critiquing Joe Biden. But what I do mind is what I do mind is Ice Cube getting up on a platform and saying he represents Black America. He wrote a contract on behalf of Black America and saying he's going to hold hostage the Black vote unless they agree to his agenda, when his agenda isn't really for Black America. That's the issue that I'm making, the problem that I have. But you can critique all day. You have a right to your opinion, and that opinion is valid. In the same way that many people have an opinion about this. Go ahead, CJ, and tell us about your topic for the week.
Oh, so I don't know if it's set in stone, but they're talking about doing a reboot with an all-Black cast of the hit 80s, 90s Golden Girls show. Personally, I'm not here for it. I just feel like certain shows just need to be left alone. I'm just not here for it. I really want to get the the group and the listeners feedback on it. I'm just not here for it. I'm not.
I'm going to say this. Okay, hold on. Okay. I'm going to say this because I really sat back and I was really like, do I want to see an all-Black version of the Golden Girls? Because I love the Golden Girls. A voice to me said, hell no. The Golden Girls is one show that should not be remade. Because the Golden Girls is the Golden Girls. That's like, for me, I was a, what's the show back then I used to love? The Bill Cosby show. What was that show called? I can't. Oh my God. Yeah, with all the people with his kids. That's like you redoing the Bill Cosby show with all the white cast. So I feel like certain things should just be left alone. Yeah. And I feel like the Golden Girls should be left alone. I feel like you should call it something else. If you want to call it something else, build around it, but I don't feel like you should be like touching that. I mean, that is iconic, that is legendary. You can't take away from them.
Yeah, it's already been done with Sweet Magnolias. They made a Black cast of that or whatever. And again, like I said, I am a diehard Golden Girls fan. Like, watch them every day, have memorabilia of theirs. Like, I'm a diehard fan. And I just feel like certain shows like that should be left alone. Like, I wouldn't want to see a reboot of A Different World. I wouldn't want to see a reboot of Martin. I just feel like certain shows are just classic. You need to let them be where they are. Like, I still get laughs off, and I don't just foresee myself, seeing an all-Black cast. Am I here for the culture? 100%. I think it'd be great, but I just think it needs to be left alone. Zach, you giving me the face, so go ahead. Say what you got.
I don't want to do it. So, I'm going to say something, but I need you guys to make sure you're not going to be mad at me if I say it. So, if so, then I'm not going to say it. But it's really going to
be. And I mean, it's a safe space. Say what you got to say.
I don't have to say it. I don't have to because Zach said it. And this is all I'm going to say is people need to read these articles. You need to do your homework before you bring a topic up, right? Like, I'm serious, and I'm going to leave it at that.
Right. That's what I was about to say. It already happened.
See, what you do.
It already happened. They did it as
some fake news. See, that's the problem in America is that people see these little bitty clips on Facebook and they run crazy about Joe Biden wants to arrest the Black people because a headline from Russia said it. This is not a show, people. It's not like they're trying to redo the Golden Girls. This was a one-time
exactly
for Zoom. It was Zoom. It was like promoting Zoom. But you didn't read the article.
Okay.
But
and that's what I was about to say. And you
want to question me and ask me if I'm telling a lie. I think you're going to give me some more tea off that. Bam.
So if you missed the Zoom call, they actually uploaded it on YouTube. They did it as a table read. I think for me, my position, I thought it was a very creative thing. I don't know if you witnessed a lot of these, like The Nanny did a table read of a popular episode. A lot of these famous shows in 90s and 80s sitcoms have been coming back and just doing table reads of popular episodes during the pandemic, just for the mere sake of entertaining their fans and also pushing a charitable organization to bring more awareness to what they're doing. Of course, to contribute to whatever community that they're sponsoring at the time. So I thought it was just a pretty funny thing for them to do. I know that, of course, Golden Girls shouldn't be touched. It is a extreme classic, but I think in often conversations in our, behind our closed doors, we often may have like, oh well, who's a black actress that could play Rose, or who's a black actress that could play Blanche? You know, just fun hearsay kind of conversations. And so I just think they brought that to life for that one moment. The charitable organization that they wanted to spotlight was called Color of Change, and that's the largest online racial justice organization. They haven't released the numbers in terms of how many viewers they received on that Zoom call or what have you, but I'm just in my own mind, you have these four Titan black actresses, you know, coming together with Lena Waithe hosting it. It's like, you know, you bound to have at least over 1 million in my mind, you know, view the thing. But I definitely have to agree with Zach on this one.
Well, I mean, look, call it what it is. My bad. I was wrong.
So you just stated articles and not reading. Because no shade. I didn't even read it, so I'm gonna be honest.
I mean,
here I am.
I actually presented it to me, and I kind of like skimmed through it real quick. I didn't read it, and I'm wrong. I'm wrong. It's all good. I made a mistake.
Now, CJ, you didn't read your own article.
Child, you didn't read
right. And I will say another really cool thing that they did is they actually took prior episodes and just redid them. So it was the exact same script from again, one of the prior episodes. I don't know. I know, CJ, you said that you are a diehard fan. On the episode that Rose got everybody sick when she had the flu and she tried to play it down like she would never get sick. That was one of the episodes. And then they actually did another episode about color. Or what have you. So I thought it was a pretty cool idea for them to recreate that for that one time.
Do y'all see my brother come in? I am dead.
What did he say?
Please highlight Dante comment real quick.
What did Dante say?
That is stupid. No, do the other one.
I'm going to go through all the comments real quick. So I missed something funny, Tatiana, because I had to go get my tea off that one so I could calm down. Because, you know, I was questioning about being a liar when somebody going to read the article.
You wasn't questioned about being a liar by me or Vince at all. Don't do that.
You did.
No, Vince said it first.
You questioned my integrity on this live cast.
No, Vince said it first.
I take it very seriously. You questioned my integrity.
No. Vince said, right, thank you. Vince said, I want to see the receipts, and I said, I agree. Vince, I want to see
that. My protege, and he and I will talk about this offline.
Vince, did you not say that?
Vince and I'm not going to discuss this with Vince.
So you're not going to put this on me when Vince said it first, and I went and then seconded it.
So this is what
you're going to sit here and gang up on me when Vince questions you first about
you did it. CJ, if you just
I did right after him.
Read your article. Read your article. And there's
I will. But question your protege because he's the one who questioned your news first.
It doesn't matter. The point
it doesn't matter. Okay.
This is what matters is that you brought an article to the table and you didn't even read it.
Did you read it?
No, Dante said.
Did you read it?
Yeah. I knew all about this.
Okay, like I said, right now is that you say here getting on me, but you can't get on Vince for questioning your news first.
Vince read the article. Everyone has an opinion. He can question me. I'm not above questioning.
Right, but because I question you the issue though, right?
No, the issue is you didn't read your article. Now, Dante said, thank you for being a sister, driving through the hood and back again. Our kids made out, but I asked to still live here. Dante watch. Dante has made a whole new song for the intro to the Golden Girls that is just as racist as I thought it would be. Dante, shame on you.
That's funny.
Well, shame on you for sitting here and ganging up on me.
Well, Nathaniel said for us to leave you alone, and Nathaniel, I will leave him alone. You just give your friend good advice and counsel, and you let him know to be prepared when he comes on live.
One time, you said one time I made a mistake. You make it like you gonna nail me to the cross for one time? Okay.
I have not nailed you anywhere.
Okay, I'm just saying.
Like the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ.
And you aren't either. You're not either.
I don't make those types of analogies of myself. You make the analogy of you being.
Oh, you know it's just the same. So cut it out. Cut it out. Now you're
Zach, why can't we reboot shows that we didn't see ourselves in? There's a whole new generation that was not exposed to it. Zach, this is what I want to say. I do agree with that part, but here's the thing. I want to see, actually, those shows had a moment in time that was relevant for that moment in time. I want to see new shows. I want to see.
Why would we have to when we had already did it? When you seen Full House, you seen Family Matters.
I think for me, I think it's a moment of nostalgia that's missing. And when I say nostalgia, there is a substance and a pure, there's a substance and a pure like comedy that these 90s and 80s sitcoms have that these, you know, sitcoms that we watching right now don't have, to be honest.
And for me, created.
Right, and for me, it's yes, a lot of credit goes to the actors and the actresses that play these iconic roles, but it also matters to the writers and the producers. And unfortunately, a lot of these key writers and producers that did Golden Girls, that did Family Matters, that did all these big major sitcoms that we know and love are no longer living. So you know, if you want to bring back the whole thing and make it right, I feel like you got to bring the whole team in its entirety to really replicate and reboot what happened decades ago. So yeah, I agree with what CJ said about not rebooting. Definitely Golden Girls. I think what should happen is what we saw with Versus last night with Patti and Gladys. Like we have a new generation catalyst that brings an iconic thing back to the limelight. You get what I'm saying? And then now that exposes it to younger generations versus bringing in new actresses and new actors and just trying to replicate what had happened, you know? So I think there's a better strategic way to do it.
Well said. You're muted.
That's a good point. I think to bring up a good point. It was funny. If you are probably, you know, like offensive humor. But when you talk about the, you know, like Tracee Ellis Ross, her platform is bigger than what the Golden Girls would even be in terms of where they were at the same time in their careers. When these ladies came together to do Golden Girls, their careers were not where Tracee Ellis Ross's career would be. So I don't think it's necessary to reboot old shows. I think it's necessary for our creators to get out there and create brand new shows that speak to the moment. And that can be, and their goal should be to be funnier than the Golden Girls, to be funnier than these shows that are iconic for a new generation. That's what I want to see. But you talked about Vince, the Versus. Did you guys watch it last night?
Yes.
Hell yeah!
Let's talk about, you know, your thoughts on the.
Nothing negative. It was nothing but love. If I have to use what, it was love. It was love. It was respect. It was history. It was icons. They brought Auntie Dion out. Like, I can't say nothing negative about it. I literally sat at the screen and I just wanted more. And Auntie Gladys was singing. Auntie Patti was singing. Like, they just respect each other, and they're friends. Like, they're friends, longtime friends that know each other's family. And I just loved it. There was nothing negative about it. I was pissed about the memes I seen today where they were showing about Dionne Warwick. But they all sound amazing. They're all aging gracefully. They look great. Like the music, the sound, it just made me realize how many hits they had, how great their music was, how great their music still is, and how so many people just mimic their music now. I love it. I loved it.
Yeah, I agree. CJ, License to Kill has been on repeat the entire day for me. Done by Gladys Knight for the not GoldenEye, James Bond soundtrack back in the 90s. It was so much. It literally just felt like your auntie and your mama and your grandma was talking to you the whole night for like 3 hours straight. You get what I'm saying? The promotion for it when they were cooking. First off, Gladys Knight's banana pudding looked amazing. I'm trying to get me a little communion cup of that. And, you know, Patti always going to prepare a spread. I love Patti pies. Like, you know, she gets down with the Patti pies 100%. And the fact that they were sitting down, singing their butts off. And I said this on my timeline on Facebook. These new R&B folk could never. You cut the track off on them, they're going to be like, what's the acapella? Who's that? Oh, I got to sing from my diaphragm. What's a diaphragm? range. What's a range? Are you kidding me? And for me, it just, even looking at Gladys and Patti, even Brandy and Monica, it makes me recognize the lackluster music, R&B and soul and pop music that we are constantly feeding our brains of like the yester years or what have you. And I feel like I got my brain cells back last night, man. It was a beautiful moment, and we needed to see it. Highlight of the night for me was what Gladys said. Brandy, Monica, y'all need to get it together. Loved it. Call them out.
Right.
I'm gonna say this. I agree with everything what Vince said. What I love was the unity that they had for each other, the respect that they had for each other. Because with Monica and Brandy, it was some shade being thrown, no shade. It was very shady. But you could tell that the relationship between Gladys and Patti is genuine, and it's real love. Because I feel like the era they grew up in, that they had to sing in, they had to stick together because of all the things that's going on with the racism and all that stuff. And it's very sad that we have these new R&B singers that can't sit down for an hour and just celebrate each other's music. Now, however come, I am Team Patti. I'm always gonna be Team Patti. But it was beautiful to see them, like it was a genuine respect factor there. It was no shade. It probably would have been different if Aretha Franklin was alive, because but rest in peace, Aretha Franklin. She's I hate this. I would really love to see her go against what's her name? She's going on to shoot. She did Cadillac Records. What's her name? They did Beyonce played her in Cadillac Records.
Etta James?
Etta James, yeah. Etta James. Yeah, because I mean Etta has some hits too. So I would really love to see Etta James and Aretha Franklin, because and I love, and Dionne Ward came out, like that's how you know when you like there was love there. And I don't need to see another verse battle. I feel like I'm done with verse battles, because that gave me, like, in 1994, listen to my old great aunties talk about stuff. Like, it was just beautiful, and I feel like it can never be redone. But rest in peace to Aretha and Etta James. Y'all are legends as well. And I really hate that y'all can't do a verse battle, because I would have tuned in for that in R&B.
So did Patti know the music? Did Patti know the words to her music?
Well, Patti is 75 years old. Give Patti a break.
She needed that.
It's the people who in their 20s and 30s can't remember songs that are supposed to be written for them.
Right.
Right. Patti did nothing outside of her norm. Patti is known for wanting her teleprompter, wanting to hear her background singers, wanting to hear her band, and she makes it known on that live stage. I can't hear my singers. Where my teleprompter? Where is this? She's just the man of excellence. I'm a legend. I'm a DJ. I don't pay my dues, and you talking about you can't press your thumb on this space bar and roll.
Exactly all you have to say. You can't say nothing good about the verse. Did you even watch the verses?
Oh.
CJ, I did watch the verses, and the thing is, and again, I get that some of these songs are 40 years old, but again, I told you earlier in the discussion, like when Zach talked about Cornel West, you can critique. It's okay to critique. This is the thing, and I know, and everybody, the whole point is get different opinions. We can sit here and praise this. Everything that you gentlemen said, I agree with. It was all true, but the bottom line is, Patti LaBelle prepared for the versus battle, and she was ready. I do not think that Gladys Knight prepared. She was ready. I don't think Patti prepared. I don't think that she really understood what this even may have been, and it came across in how she sounded and how she didn't know her lyrics. That's all I'm saying. But with that being said, this wasn't a planned topic. It was. I knew you would probably bring it up, so I had.
Well, I'm assuming Zach was probably going to go into Andrew.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah, so why Zach is frozen on the screen, you guys? Make sure you screenshot it and tag him in it. He's always coming for my good old Wi-Fi. But,
yeah, right. He just went off too. I didn't get it.
But I'm going to say this.
This is how we should be when he come back.
Right.
But I'm going to say this in regards to Andrew Gillum. His wife, what stood out to me for that interview was his wife.
Oh God!
And I truly feel like
Jesus.
And I truly feel like
now you see, I'm in a basement. I'm in the basement.
Oh, Ty, we know you're gonna have some excuse about that.
I'm in a new background. I'm in a new room.
Get a new MacBook. Get a new MacBook, okay?
Nonetheless, that's our last topic. What are the other? I know that Rodney had put in the chat at the last minute. He wants to talk about Andrew Gillum. Rodney, tell us about Andrew Gillum.
Okay, yes. So let me go here. So Andrew Gillum. What stood out to me with the interview he did with Tamron Hall was his wife. And his wife said something I feel like every Black household should tailor after. She knew what it was when she married Andrew. It was clear as day that she knew that her husband liked men, but it was in the privacy of their own home, and they had that understanding. However, Andrew got sloppy and got caught, and now it's public. And so what I want to say is this. I'm not going to hold Andrew to a cross. I'm not going to nail him or anything like that because, for one, I was worried about his wife. So if his wife was okay with it and cool with it and knew what it was, who am I to come and critique their marriage, critique their covenant like I have all the answers? What's the issues when your man's out there creeping and don't know anything about it? That's what I don't like. So Andrew, you are forgiven from me because I was mad at you. I'm not gonna lie. So I thought you creeped around on your wife and she had no idea. But since your wife had publicly made it known that she knew what it was, I can't fault somebody because that's their marriage. Who am I to tell somebody how to run their marriage?
No comment.
Yeah. For me, the only thing that I have to say is more so about the Gillum family. I am a Rattler, Florida A&M University. So when I was in school, his little sister, when I tell you she ran that campus, and he would often come in and assist and do some campaigning stuff. SGA is really, really big down at FAMU. And so the Gillum name holds a lot of weight and respect in I guess that side of the community, the HBCU, Tallahassee, Florida State, TCU, Tallahassee Community College, CCC, or what have you. So when the story came out, I was like, oh man, I'm definitely not one to Rodney's point, critique anybody and cast judgment and go deep down into the rabbit hole on shoulda, woulda, coulda, and what should have happened. It's just unfortunate when you have a family and a person that is so dignified and has this amazing platform. He came off of who is he going against in that governor election? And he was having
the current governor of Florida.
He was having his viral clips and stuff like that. So he had a very good momentum about him. I think even him and April Ryan and Angela Rye was supposed to have a show on CNN and stuff like that. So when everything hit the fan, I was like, dang, man. I was just hoping that he could, come around and recover and everything will be done tactfully and respectfully and whatever is supposed to happen, happened. So, yeah, that's my position on it.
So, do we have any other topics for the night?
I know y'all not going to what it is. Y'all don't have nothing to say.
Rodney, this isn't a topic I would want to discuss. This isn't one I would have picked. So, I don't want to just make up something or say something that I didn't watch. I don't like Tamron Hall. I don't watch her show. I'm not gonna watch her show. It's not.
I don't either.
I don't like his
Yeah,
so I didn't watch the interview. It just happened today. I haven't had time to research it. Unlike some people on the live cast, I don't like to talk about things that I don't know, and I haven't done my adequate research. I like to be well informed. I like to know what I'm talking about.
I
So
actually don't want to talk about that on there either. So don't keep trying to hold out.
I didn't have time to research it.
Okay, first of all, so
What happened?
I said no. I definitely don't talk about stuff I don't know either. Just because I made a mistake with one topic, don't act like it's a serious event that happens all the time. First of all. Second of all, I don't have nothing to say about it because the interview did not happen today. It actually happened over the weekend. And I don't care that he came up and he said he was bisexual. Like, woo. Like, okay, whoop-de-doo. And the fact that she knew about it, okay, furthermore, so what's there to talk about? If she knew about it, he came out and said it because he got caught. What else is there to talk about?
I would not vote for him if he ran for any office that I was allowed to vote for. And let me tell you why. I don't have a problem. I don't care about his sexuality. His sexuality has no impact on me one way or the other. I don't care about it. That he can identify however he chooses to identify, and his wife can do the exact same thing. What happens in their home, in their marriage, in their bedroom, that's their business. I don't really care about any of that. What I do care about is that there are people in this world who are fighting fights every single day who are LGBTQIA+. You have openly bisexual candidates who have gone through the process of being bullied, being attacked, being torn down for their orientation, who have been straightforward, and they come out and say, I am a bisexual man. I am a bisexual woman, and I want to earn your vote by being who I am today. Now, I'm not, maybe Andrew Gillum didn't know he was bisexual until after he lost the governorship. And even at that point, if that was the case, he could have owned up to that or said that beforehand. The time to talk about this isn't today for Andrew Gillum. Don't talk about it after you've been caught in the hotel, whether you were drugged or whether you chose to take drugs from two male prostitutes. And then you talk about it 6 months later. If you were drugged, the time to talk about being drugged was as soon as it came out. That's the time to talk about being drugged. If you were bisexual, the time to talk about being bisexual was as soon as it came out. Not after you've had 6 months or however long it's been the process. Not after you had all this time to get your PR story together. That is not the time for me to now come back and say, you know what, brother, I'm on your side. I support you. I will not be voting for Andrew Gillum unless he runs against Donald Trump. Now, one thing that was brought up, I think, is Dante said, did we talk about Cardi B and Candace Owens? We did not talk about that. Would anyone like to talk about that?
You know what? That was a toss-up between what I was going to submit for this week. Actually, so it's funny that he brought that up. Tell us about it, Vince. So basically, Candace's whole position was the fact that Democrats utilize celebrity power to pander the black vote, in a nutshell. And we often hear that side from that argument from the Republican Party. The Democrats always use the celebrities, Beyonce's, and the black people to get this, that, and the third. And then the Republicans, all they have is Kid Rock or have you, and that's just, but Cardi B, we know Cardi is always going to respond to whatever. So they just were going back and forth, in typical 2020, we're bored in quarantine. I guess I'll respond to you anyway type fashion. So I think the big root of it was Candace's just stance in it. Do the Democrats try to often use celebrity power to pander the black vote? Is that beneficial for them? I can distinctively remember when Beto O'Rourke ran for, I think, whatever, governor of Texas.
Beto O'Rourke ran for Senate against Ted Cruz.
Senate, right. And so when that happened and Beyonce came out and supported him, they were blaming his loss on her. So it's just, even with Stacey Abrams, okay, we got Oprah coming down here to Georgia knocking on doors. Did that win? I mean, did that work for her or did it work against her? So that has, beyond Candace's position, that has often been a thing around the Democratic Party and celebrity endorsements.
So I want to say, I would love, Nicholas, I don't know who you are, but I would love for you to join us for a discussion or for a debate, at some point, because we have wanted to have a Black Republican or conservative on to talk to you. Because one, you said Cardi is trash. I'm gonna say this, Nicholas, this was my response. I wouldn't say what Cardi's trash, you're trash. But I didn't say that because God took my tongue, he held my tongue in my mouth, and God didn't let me unleash that on you. Because I don't know who you are. You have like some kind of demon as your little avatar. I don't know who you are. You may be Rodney's friend, Vincent's friend, or Nathaniel's friend. I don't know. But this is what I do know. Cardi B's mother-in-law is a very active member of the Democratic Party in this country and in this state. And so that has helped open doors for her. And this is the thing I support. I support people like Cardi B using their platform to educate and elevate the community. And I don't have to agree with what she does or what she says, but I don't have a problem with it. This is interesting to me. Many people came out and critiqued Cardi B for interviewing Joe Biden, but you didn't critique Ice Cube for denouncing or creating a black agenda. Yet and still, he said his lyrics are just as damaging to the black female as what some people assume Cardi B's lyrics to be. In addition to that, I also want to say that who are we to say that Cardi B doesn't have the right to engage in this kind of intellectual conversation? I have a doctoral degree. I have 4 college degrees. I graduated summa cum laude, and I haven't made a B since my sophomore year in college through those 4 degrees. Yet and still, I'm not going to sit here as some kind of academic who's earned my degrees and say someone who may not have an education doesn't have a right to be politically involved or have a right to have a seat at the table. Everybody is valid. Everybody has a right to be there. Cardi B is not trash. How dare you say that? What has she done to earn the title of trash? And that's why I'm big mad, because I'm tired of black men tearing down and attacking black women when they make a stance and do what's right. Cardi B is doing what's right. I wish there was people like that. Candace Owens does nothing but sow seeds of division and beg for the appropriation of white people, exactly as Dante said earlier. If she had any white friends, she'd get her hair done and she'd look like a decent human being, but she doesn't, because she doesn't have any. And you, Nicholas, can tell her that, because I'm sure you follow her on Twitter, on Instagram, and Facebook.
I'm gonna say this.
I second that motion.
I think it's very smart that the Democratic Party. I'm gonna say this: if you have a platform as big as Cardi B, Oprah Winfrey, and you are a Democratic Party, I feel like it's your duty to tell people who you are and why you align yourself with this party, because you have a huge following. I see nothing wrong with that. I see nothing wrong with Cardi telling black people to vote. Why? What's wrong with that? Why is it wrong to tell people to vote? Why is it wrong for the Democratic Party using their celebrities who have big followings to win stuff? And the reason Stacey Abrams off, because she got cheated. Let's just call it spade a spade. He cheated her. She should be governor, period. But like, I'm here for it. Candace Owens is a dumbass person. You kiss behind these white folks' ass and then get invited to the damn house. Like I said, you in the field, you ain't going nowhere, girl. They ain't letting you in the house, girl. You came to get at the steps. It's horrible.
Cardi B is on my level. There is no level. There are no levels. Education is intelligence is a privilege. If you have the ability to where things come easy to you because you're smart, it's a privilege, just like white privilege. And guess what? If you have the money to make things easy for you, it's also a privilege. There are lots of types of privileges. I know that I am blessed and I'm privileged, and I don't ever use that to say somebody is at a level below me or above me because my mama taught me better. What's the next topic? Because today has not been a good day for the Zactivists on what's the name of the show on Five Guys on Live?
How do you not know the own name of the show?
Because you have worn me out tonight, CJ. You have worn me out.
I wore you out.
I'm still stuck on the fact that you didn't read your article, and I can't move on. I need everybody to pray for me, pray for my peace. Pray for my mental sanity. Pray for Nicholas Martinez as well. Pray for his peace as well. And for Candace Owens. Because I know that she has hot ironed that hair so much it's breaking out. It's broken. It's so bad. I don't know if you saw her wedding picture with her hair in that little knot. Pray for Candace Owens too.
Well, I'm gonna pray for you too.
I just asked you to do that.
Yeah, because you're getting worked up over
everything. I
It
get
ain't
worked
me.
over
It ain't
everything.
me.
I have a lot of passion
You was
about
working
these
without Ice
topics
Cube. So,
because I care enough to read the topics.
well, good for you, Zach. Good. One mistake.
See, this is what I don't understand.
I'm not perfect, Zach.
Hold
like
on.
you. I'm sorry. I can make mistakes too, you know.
This is what I don't understand. Hold on. Can you go back to what Dante said?
I don't want to, but I will.
No, this is what I don't understand. And even what Tatiana said after his comment. It's like, for me, thinking political analytics. You get what I'm saying? Analyzing I'm sorry. I am not a political strategist, but attempting to think on that level in any product. You get what I'm saying? You are going to play to your strengths. You are going to utilize your horses. You are going to utilize your big cards. So if I am a product and Beyonce likes my product, y'all don't want me to utilize somebody that is freely going to endorse me. Like that's crazy to me. That's just like even the fact that the Republican Party plays off of people not being intelligent. That's pandering too. But don't nobody want to talk about that.
I didn't mean to do that. And here's the thing. Here's even more so, Vince, is this. This is the next piece of it. I believe that everyone has a responsibility to use their platform as they see fit. If Beyonce decides that this is an important issue to her because this election affects many Black people in America, and you have to use the talents God has given you to move His kingdom forward. Okay, that's how it works, Dante. And if God has blessed Beyonce with the ability to influence people, she needs to use that influence for the things she believes in. That's her right as a human being, and it's her responsibility as a child of God.
Even to add to that, I don't know if you all saw Eva Longoria. She was on The View earlier last week. She received backlash for being the host of the first night of the DNC. And she didn't understand why she was receiving backlash, because she's like, prior to me becoming a quote unquote celebrity, I was still a normal person like everybody else. So I'm a fifth generation, so on and so forth. I didn't graduate from this, that, and the third. I was enduring troubles and issues like, everybody else in my community. So now that God has given me a platform to broadcast a light on these things, now I'm at wrong. Now y'all don't want me to say nothing. And I feel like if the tables were turned and the Republicans had a slew of Kid Rocks on their side, y'all wouldn't be saying that to them, or would you? Right.
What?
I don't get that. I'm sorry.
Shaking my head. I don't.
Typing too fast.
This is a good question. What is wrong with Republicans? I don't know. I think it's just that they have been misled, and they're pretty bad people if they're voting and supporting Donald Trump. They just lack decent decent humanity. Like, that's the problem. And it's not an issue of Republicans. I have a lot of respect for Republicans, like the people who are running the Lincoln Project, Republicans who are fighting against the re-election of Donald Trump. I have a problem with these Trumplicans, these people who are supporting Donald Trump. That's what I have a problem with. So, Nicholas, if you don't support Donald Trump, then there's no issue with you either. But if you do support Donald Trump, then shame on you and shame on your whole family line. Your bloodline's messed up, brother. Shame on you.
I agree with Zach.
Zach, you were going in tonight. I just need to let you know that.
But I do agree with what Zach said. Like, you can be a Republican, but you can't be voting for Trump. If you voted for Trump, I can't sit with you either. So,
Zachary's on 10 tonight, I think.
No, we can't agree. No, we can't agree that Trump did bring back many jobs. You know what? Here's a big misnomer. Do you know how many people became millionaires in the very first year after President Barack Hussein Obama was president of the United States? 1.1 million people became millionaires. The notion that Donald Trump brought back all of these jobs is a false dichotomy. It's not true. President Barack Hussein Obama put policies in place that are continuing to bear fruit for the American people, and that would have continued to bear fruit even throughout this time. Now, you're going to see, unfortunately, the real results of what Donald Trump has done for America in the next 4 years. That's when you're going to see it. But you know what? People who support him, they're not going to blame him. They're going to blame it on the COVID-19 pandemic, which he helped exacerbate, which he failed to lead America through, which people are pretending like didn't even happen. So this man did not create jobs. President Barack Hussein Obama created those jobs. Don't sit there and give him credit for what he didn't do. Don't bring those lies on here.
Right here in the city, they act like it's not going on.
This is just plain regular tea. It's good, strong tea for your immune system so that I can stay healthy and I won't get COVID-19 from these people that go out all the time. Your brother.
Well, I'm not going to be out in these streets, but I'm going to leave him. But like my mama say, he's talking to me, so I'm going to take the lash.
Well, whatever. People in this city are acting like the word corona never even existed.
I have never seen, and this is what is, I've always gone out to like stores and get my takeout food. I have always seen Black people in masks. Now, I can't say I've seen everybody in masks, but I've always seen Black people at restaurants if they're eating inside or if they are, picking up food, they've had on masks. This was the first weekend that I went out in Atlanta to get food, and I saw people everywhere, and there were fewer masks than I've never seen. So few masks being worn, and I think it's very scary because I know that you have a lot of people who have contracted COVID-19 from last weekend who don't know they have COVID-19.
That part.
So I'm very, very concerned. I think I said on the live cast last week that I was going to go into super quarantine mode. So when I go out now, I have on my mask with the filter in the mask, and then I have on my gloves because I'm very concerned about what is going to now happen since post-Labor Day. I'm very concerned. Gentlemen, do we have other issues on the table? And for our educators, I know there are 6 prominent educator deaths that have now been shared where the teachers went back to school, they started teaching, they contracted COVID, and now they have died. The saddest one being a 29-year-old teacher in South Carolina. 29 years old, South Carolina teacher, went back the first day, got COVID that weekend, and passed away Monday. She was tested positive on a Saturday, and she passed away Monday of last week. Well, Dante, I have unfriended a lot of people from Mississippi and people who are on my Facebook. If I see Trump support or I see ignorant comments that suppress the Black vote, I do unfriend immediately. I don't tolerate it on my page, not in my life. I don't tolerate it.
I think what he's trying to say is I'm open to our conversation. So I don't mind talks about who say they support Trump because I want to know why do you want to support him. Now, if you're not willing to have a decent conversation and put out facts, you just want to say stupid stuff, then I would unfriend you. But I don't mind having a conversation with anyone about any type of differences that we have. So I feel like you need to know why they feel the way they feel. I think it's very important to know why people feel the way they feel. But now, if you just out here talking correctly, you're saying stupid stuff, then I would block you and remove you.
You know what? For me, I don't want to say, and I'm using this word lightly, but I think we live in a society where it's very selfish to the point where if this does not or has not affected me and my immediate surroundings, then I'm okay. So despite Trump being negligent toward a pandemic and close to 200,000 lives have been lost, if I'm a person that lives in Mississippi, or if I'm a person that lives in Ohio or North Dakota and his policies have worked in my favor because I haven't passed away, nobody in my family or friends have passed away, then this unfortunately is irrelevant, quote unquote, to me. Not saying it's right, but I feel like that is a lot of people's stances. And even reflecting back to just how we move in our community on day to day, where we always say, dang, when somebody gets shot in your own backyard, then we want to, jump street and we want to protest, we want to move and do all this stuff. But if it's not affecting me immediately, then it's like, oh, okay, well, I'm gonna just pray for them and keep it pushing. So I think that is just the stance of just a lot of us right now. So to Dante's point, I can see how one could say, well, this is why I'm supporting XYZ, but I just think that just questions just the considering who Trump is and what he dished out, that still for me makes me want to question just the integrity and the morality of it all.
Vince, I think you make a really good point. Again, everybody has a right. Like Rodney is a very nice person, and Rodney's very extroverted. Rodney has lots of friends. Zachary doesn't have a lot of friends. Zachary has a very, very small friend group. He tries to be kind, even if I'm not nice. I won't lie. I'm not a nice person, but I'm a kind person. I try to be kind to everybody. I try to be generous to strangers.
How do you call a God and you're not a nice person?
So I'm gonna let you Google what those two words mean, so you can see how they define differently to maximize time on the livecast. But I try to be very kind, even if I cannot always be necessarily nice. But what I do not do is give everybody an audience and give everybody mental time and mental space. I read the opinions of people that support President Trump. I look at clips of people that support President Trump. But what I will not do is engage with fake Facebook friends who support Donald Trump, or people in my friend group supporting Donald Trump, because if you support Donald Trump, you are either one or two things, either a racist or an idiot. And there's no room in my life for either of those two things. So I define friendships very narrowly. I'm a very loyal friend to my friends, and so it's very tight with me. So I don't waste that energy. Nicholas says, why aren't we blaming China if they knew this virus got loose? The whole entire world, Nicholas, has dealt with the coronavirus pandemic. The whole world. Everybody. And so you can sit here and want to place blame on China all day, but we don't live in China. And I don't look to China to protect me. I look to the American government that was elected by the American people under an American democracy to take care of the American people. And the current leadership that was put in place by Republicans and conservatives and people who failed to vote, Donald J. Trump failed to do that. That's why it is his fault. And that's why he needs to be held accountable, because he did not do what we elected him to do. At the bare minimum, it is to protect the American people from enemies foreign and unseen. And he failed to do it.
And I want to address this. He said Democrats started slavery, which is true. But however, I can forgive people who try to rewrite their wrongs. One thing I can say, I feel like I am too nice sometimes to forgive you. However, the Democrats back in the day were horrible people. Hold on, they were. They were not for black people.
Listen to what you said. You said Democrats started slavery. Rodney, slavery wasn't existing before Democrats were existing.
No. Democrats. The slave owners were a part of Democrats. That's true. That's true. Rodney, that's not false.
Right. Slavery existed in the world before the Democratic Party existed.
That boy, man, he's coming in America. Come on now. Like, I'm not.
Rodney, you didn't have Democrats when people came to America in the 1600s. The Democratic Party didn't exist then. In the beginning of the America, in our government and democracy, you had the Whigs and the Tories. You didn't even have Democrats or Republicans. So it's not right to say Democrats started slavery.
That's not true. Being rude to black people. Like, I'm not going to
maybe what you're trying to say is that there was a point when the Democratic Party was pro-slavery in their platform.
Okay, well, yeah.
Because that would be accurate.
Definitely, okay, give me that. However, but the Democratic Party did rewrite their wrongs. And that's one thing I am also for people trying to rewrite what the hell they did wrong. And now the Republican Party is not, I feel like the Republican Party is for rich people. You're not rich, and you're not like making some type of moves, they don't care about you, love. That's why all these big corporations get all these tax breaks. That's why they get all this money back, because they are the party for money. Democrats are the party for people who don't, they try to meet everyone in the middle, like middle class. So, like I said, I'm not here to tell you who to vote for or who not. What do what's best for your household. But if you are voting for Trump, I don't see how can you vote somebody who's evil like that. This is how I feel.
See, my thing is real quick. I'm sorry. So, this is my position. And Dante, I'm getting a little flustered right now, because you make this comment: in America, Democrats were racist and wanted to keep slavery. Okay, we gonna notate that. However, considering what the Republican Party has done and what the Trumpicans have said, so on and so forth, then where does one go? You get what I'm saying? It's like we can sit up here and put the two against each other, but nobody want to open up their mouth and give a solution. We blame Trump. We see the bullshit that he say, and then we go back into yesterday centuries and say what the Democrats did. And if we say that both of them are wrong or whatever the case is, if you are independent, if you are easily swayed a voter, whatever position that is, what is your solution? Now everybody want to bite their tongue. I'm talking to the viewers. It's like we want to put all this stuff out there and go against each other, but then it's like, then who is the solution? Where does that person turn to, and who do they vote for? Nobody.
Tatiana, he's a Russian bot. So we have all seen the variety of news stories about the Russian interference, and they're targeting the Black audience. I'm glad that we're getting enough recognition from Facebook that they had to send the bots. They had to send the Russian bots to interfere in our live cast. Nicholas Martinez is a Russian operative who works for Vladimir. He works for Putin. He is here to discourage Black people from voting. His name is Martinez because now they're trying to get the Latinos, but he wanted to come in and get a couple Blacks on his side. So I'm glad that I've been thinking it the whole time, but I'm glad you called it out. We need to contact the FBI immediately. We need assistance on line 1.
You're bored. Whoever you are, you're bored. Hey, Tatiana, my friend. Hey, Tatiana, I love you, girl.
Nicholas, no one's mad at you.
Mad. You know who's talking back and forth all night, fool.
I'm glad you're here because you are absolutely helping us identify real issues that Black people need to know about, and that all of the voters who are watching us know about. These are real issues. What's sad is, even though you are Russian and you probably live in a cave in Siberia with your parents, the reality is there are a lot of people out there that might think like you. And we have a responsibility to help educate those people so they can understand the bigger and broader picture. It's very important to do so. And again, if you are a real person, we welcome that you come on to this environment and we can talk and engage with you. This is the thing, Dante, I hear what you're saying. The time for all of that will come on November the 4th after Joe Biden is elected. I give you my guarantee, my promise and commitment to you is that Zachary Kirk is going to demand more of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris than many people that you know. But I can't demand anything from them until they are elected. Black people have asked for Donald Trump to do several things during his administration. And you know what he's done? Nothing. Black people asked him to do something as simple as recognize that their lives matter, and he declined to do so. So there is no reason for me, when you can't even acknowledge that Black lives matter, there's no reason for me to ask you for anything, to count on you for anything or to expect anything. And with that being said, Tatiana, you can keep counting and expecting that cheesecake. I hope you get one. They're good. And then
they're very good. Very, very good.
Yeah, they're very good. And so, Nicholas, there isn't a question as to who people should vote for. Black people, brown people, Jewish people, Christian people, gay people, straight people, bisexuals like Andrew Gillum and his ally wife should all vote for Joe Biden, period. And guess what? Dr. Phil should too. Again, Dante, you can say they've ignored the Black vote. You need to give me evidence before you say that, because I don't see it that way. I don't see that they've ignored the Black vote. I don't think that they've done that, and I don't think they will do that. But I won't know that until they're elected and I can hold them accountable. And then here we go. You know what, Nicholas, you're not my Facebook friend, and you won't be my Facebook friend because I won't accept you.
Well, you're frozen. I guess that's time, you guys. Thank you for tuning in to the Five Guys.
Rodney, he probably that troll that was trolling us on Instagram.
You know what? That's true. We had somebody doing some crazy stuff. Oh no! Look, we gotta go. Okay. Y'all have a great evening. Hopefully Zach can hear this. And we will be back every Monday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you guys tuning to the Five Guys on Live. And y'all have a great, great evening. We all love you. Thank you for being here. Even a box. That means you doing something right, y'all. We got a box coming on our live.
Everyone have a great week. Be safe. Have a great upcoming weekend.
Wash your hands.
Right. Register to vote if you're not registered to vote.
And Nicholas, I'm gonna say this: if you don't come on here, I respect the person who show their face. I don't respect people who hide their face. You are hiding.
Come on.
So if you are a real person, at least be man enough. Like trying to call people girls. Be man enough to show your face. I don't want to see no goddamn avatar from 19, whatever the hell that is. Like this ain't root type stuff. Like go on about your business before I block you. I block people.
Right, looking like Mortal Kombat.
What's that thing with the 4 arms and a
Here's
hair?
the thing. Here's the thing, Dante.
Exactly. We already closed the show out, actually.
And then, Dante says, Dante, that this isn't something that Obama should have been talking about. The times come and bring the issues. People were not talking about reparations at a national level when Obama was in office. That was not where society was. There was talk about police reform, and President Obama addressed it. When President Obama was president, that's when you had children being killed. You had a number of things happen at the end of his presidency that started to shift the nation.
It's a wrap. Zachary has terrible internet service, so he wants to sit here and talk junk about it. Let me get another picture of that too.
Nicholas, I want you to see this. You are nowhere to be found. You are not a searchable person. Okay? So if you're going to come on here and talk ish, make sure I can search you. If I cannot search you or find you, I have nothing else for you. So you are going to now be unaddressed. You will not get any more features off my album. Because if I can't even see you and know who the hell I'm talking to, what's the reason even talking to you at all, love?
Well, we don't need to give him no energy. And with that, everyone have a great week because we have someone on here that has terrible internet service and a new MacBook apparently in their new studio. So
I'm not even on my MacBook.
Well,
I'm in the basement. I'm in the basement, and it's far away from the
services. You're the one who keeps cutting it out throughout the night. So, Nicholas,
don't send CJ a friend request. CJ has other Black Republican friends or whatever race you are. He will welcome you like he welcomes those other friends of his. It ain't gonna happen here.
I tell you that I have other friends that are Republican.
I know them. I've talked to them on the phone.
I only know of one person.
Well, that's the one. That's one.
That's a friend between me and Rodney. So
that's one too many.
It's one between me and Rodney. I actually met him through Rodney.
And there you have it. Neither one of y'all read the article, so boom. Everybody, thank you for joining us. Have a great week. We'll see you next Monday.
We staying on.
What happened? Did he leave?